Okay, so let's start and try to define the schema inside. So to use your own schema, inferring schema, you have two options: inferring schema from reflection, that is you define a class, or you define the schema using a struct type. So these are the two options if you want to define your own schema. So let's start with this. First, we'll be starting with referring the schema from reflection, that is we'll be defining the schema from the class inside a class. So let's try to understand what this instruction is doing first. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, so let me copy this. We are saying that val yahoo stocks is equal to sc.text file user cloudera spark sql prac yahoo underscore stocks.csv. So in this part, this should be present. Let us copy this. Val yahoo underscore stocks is equal to sc.text file. Path is user slash cloudera slash spark sql prac slash yahoo underscore stocks dot csv. Okay, so what it is doing over here is val means value. This is my RDD because I am saying sc.text file spark context. So I am loading into an RDD from where why it is RDD, because I am saying sc.text file. I am not saying anything less sequence something. So I'm loading using a spark context, a text file. The text file is present in this location: user cloudera spark sql prac yahoo underscore stocks.csv. So I can go into this path and see whether the file is present. So I go into system tools, file browser, then user cloudera, then it was spark sql prac. So this one, and yahoo underscore stocks.csv. I open with gedit. Okay. So these are the fields in this: date, what was the opening price for a stock, what was the high price that it reached on that day, what was the lowest price that it hit, what price it closed. So what is the volume, what is adjustment close. Okay. So these are the fields that we are having: open, high, low, close, volume, adjustment, and date. So this is for each of the stocks. So it's for a given stock. It is a Yahoo stock, and on this date, what was this is the actual data for this particular date. All these dates. So what prices it hit for a Yahoo stock. This data is from the year 98. Starts from the year 1996 until 2000. So 96 to 2000, you have 4 years data of Yahoo stock, and what was the high, what was the low, what was the closing. So you can analyze this stock's value for the Yahoo stock. Now, what are the fields present over here? The fields that are present are date, open, high, close, volume, and adjust close. So these are the fields that are present over here. So let me just copy. This is my schema, right? These are the fields. So I just copy the schema and keep with me. And let's go ahead. So first I am loading this table, Yahoo underscore stocks. How to see this RDD? How to see this RDD, contents of RDD? How to see contents of RDD?
Yahoo stocks.collect.
Yahoo underscore stocks dot collect. So you can see the contents of this particular RDD. On left hand side, it is present over here. Is the contents of Yahoo stocks. Okay. Now the thing is, this particular data, the first one is the schema or whatever are the fields name. This is the field name. So do I need this field name or I only need the data? When I'm creating a table, if I'm creating a particular table or a data frame, then creating a table, I don't need this first column. I don't need this first line. The data is present from the second line, right? Since I don't need the first line, somehow I need to remove this first line. Somehow I need to remove this first line. Okay. So let's say that first line is a header. Val header is equal to Yahoo underscore stocks dot first. So what this command will do, what we are writing, val header is equal to Yahoo underscore stocks dot first. What this statement will do, it will take only the first line of it. It will take only the first line.
First word.
Okay, so you can see that it has taken only the first line. So val header is having first line. And if I want to filter the data, I will say val data is equal to Yahoo underscore stocks dot filter, and I say not equal to header. So I say it is not equal to header. And if I do data dot collect, so what I did over here is first we took the first line and then we took everything that is not a header. So everything that is not a header, that is not a first line. So if I do data dot collect now, it will give you all the lines except the header. So except this date, open, high, low, that was got filtered over here, I will get everything else. Is it clear? Any doubts in this?
No, no.
Okay. So we are able to load the text file into an RDD as well as we are able to filter the first line. We don't need a first line. Now I need to define the schema for it because I need to create a data frame. I need to create a table. So I need to have some schema. So to create a schema, we are doing this using a class. So we are saying that case class Yahoo stocks, Yahoo stock price, whatever I can name, whatever you can want to give, can give. And I'm defining the schema over here. So I define the schema as date. Date is of type, let's say, string. Then open price is of type float. Open price is of type float. Then high is of type again float. Then low is of type float. Close is of type float. Closing price is again float. Volume it will be of type integer. And let's say ADJ close, adjustment close will be again of float. So we are defining a schema. What it says, error not found type float. Oh, a float, I have written it. Lot of spelling mistakes we have done. T should be Y. It's Yahoo stock price. Then again, all the data types should start with float because it is no more a primitive data type over here. We are doing Scala, so everything is a class and object. It has to start with capital. Had it been a Java programming, it will be small f. Since it is a Scala programming, it will be all capital. Okay. So we have defined a schema over here. We had defined a schema over here. So it says the define class schema. Now we want a data frame. So we want a data frame because we have the data in RDD. So we want a data frame. So to make the data frame, see what we are writing, val stock price. I'm giving the name as a stock price data frame is equal to data dot map. So the data that I am having is separated by what? The data that we loaded over here, it is separated by what? I have highlighted what is the symbol? Comma, right? So since the data is separated by comma, first I need to split by comma, right?
Yeah.
Is it clear why we have written the first line? You have to
Yes.
understand line by line. So what we are doing is we are saying that data dot map and we are splitting it by a comma because the data was present as a comma separated. Okay, then go ahead. Dot. Again, I will be mapping it. Map. So output of this is what we have separated by comma. Now, since we separated by comma, it will be row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, and so on. But I again need to convert it into a respective things, right? Because once I separate it by comma, everything is a string. Once I separate it by a comma, everything is a string. But I need to convert it to float, right? Because this is a float, this is a float. So I will be doing that. So for a row, once I separate by a comma, then row will be Yahoo stock price row of 0. So the first line was a date, that is anyhow a string. So okay, so what we have done is the first one is a row 0, that is a string. The second one is a float. This is a string, so no need to convert, right? First one. Second one I need to convert to float, right? So what I will write, row 1, row 1. First we'll be trimming it to remove the spaces to float. Is it clear? What will be the second one? Do I need to convert the next one to a float? Do I need to convert the next one to float?
Yep. Yes.
Yes, right.
Yes. Yep.
Row 2 to float. So high is done. Do I need to convert this into float? Next one.
Yep. Yes.
So what will I write? Row 3. Why we are doing trim?
Trim to float.
Remove the space, right?
Yeah.
And to float because I want to convert it into a float. Do I need to write for the next one? I've highlighted over here. Next one, do
Yes.
I need to write?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So fourth field also yes. The next one, what I need to write over here for this one, volume, what I need to write?
Integer.
Integer, right? Okay.
Integer. Two int.
Oh, I pasted somewhere else. I cannot do Control Z also. Okay. So it should be to int. How about the next one? After volume, how about the next one?
Yeah. That to float.
Float. So just try to understand what we are doing. First, we are separating it by comma because it was a CSV values. Then we are mapping each of the things. First is row 0, that is a date, no need to convert. And then was a open price, and open price is a float. Then we need to convert open price because it was a float. Then it was a high, that also we need to convert into float. Low also we need to convert into float. Close also need to convert into float. Volume into an integer. and finally the adjustment close into a float. Okay, so we have converted everything, then close the bracket for the map, and finally we want to convert this into a two data frame. We want to convert this into a data frame. So just try to understand one by one. First, what we did, separated by a comma. Once we separated by a comma, we gave it to again a map function. What this map did, it made it as a separate fields, and it converted into a float, integer, and whatever we said. Then whatever is the output, we give it to a next function. What is the next function? Next function is to convert it into a data frame. Any doubts over here? Okay, so it gives a error. Can you see what is the error? I've written only int. I forgot to write 2, so write it to int. Okay, so just try to understand the errors also when it comes. It's better. So it says that error value int is not a member of string. So something over here int. Okay, we forgot to write 2, so we are writing to int. Errors are more important. Just whenever it is shared with you, you also make sure that you are not doing a copy paste. If you do a copy paste, it will be difficult. How to see the contents of a data frame? How to see the contents of this data frame?
Show. Show. Stock price df dot show.
Price df dot show. So this is a table. So we made a schema and we converted the data and we loaded into this table. Is it clear? Any doubts in this? Anyone? Any doubts so far? Okay, if no doubts, then how to create a
No,
table? If you want to make a table out of it, how you will do? Register as a temporary table, right? This is a data frame, right? If you want to do a table, then how you do?
register a temporary table.
Right? You can do like this, right? Register as a
Yeah,
temporary table, right? So
yeah.
you can say that stock df. This is my data frame, right? So I can say that stock df dot register temp table, and I can give any name, ZZZ stock price, ZZZ stock something. And if I want to run the query on this, how it will be? SQL context dot SQL, and what I can say, select star from ZZZ stock. Oh, why it is not showing? Why it is not showing? What I need to write behind this?
Not sure.
Dot show, right? So select star from this is not showing because I did not write show. So basically, is it clear what we did? We made our own schema. Let's have a quick revision. What we did over here?
We retrieve the file, read the file yahoo.stock file.
Okay, and we loaded into a Yahoo stocks that is nothing but a RDD.
RDD.
Okay, what we did over here?
We show the data.
Okay, we display the contents of that particular RDD on a screen. What we did over here?
Uh, Here, yeah, we create a RDD with first value of Yahoo RDD, Yahoo
Yes.
stocks RDD.
So why we did? Because we wanted to filter out the first line, right?
First line, yeah.
Yeah. So what we did over here?
Here we filtered out first
Filter
line
out the first line. So we are having this
and save the
next
data
RDD
in
data dot
data.
collect, which is having only the contents. Okay. What did we do over here?
Here we create a schema
We created a
to
schema.
define. Yeah. So this I just want to understand. So we create the schema like this case class.
Yes.
Okay.
So there won't be any contents in this, only the schema. Then what did we do over here? Only this one, what I highlighted in blue.
Here we first split the by comma,
Split by comma. Then what we did over here, the highlighted in blue.
then we convert the value as per schema,
Okay, and finally what we did over here,
as it
to data frame.
convert into data frame. Yeah.
Okay, so over here we first change it to integer, and over here we convert it into a data frame. Now to see the contents of data frame, it's stock price df dot show. Okay, so this was the part A, wherein we can infer to a schema from a reflection, and that is defined inside a class. That is, the next one is a infer to a schema using a struct type. We'll be seeing the second type, how we can infer to a schema using a struct type. So for this we need to import this particular library. How to import org dot apache dot spark dot sql dot. I only want to import SQL context and row. SQL context comma row. So we are importing this. Then again import SQL dot types dot integer type, string type, struct field, struct type. So we imported this also, or Apache Spark SQL types, integer type, string type, struct type, and struct field and struct type. So these are the things that you need to import if you want to infer the schema using a struct type. So this thing you need to import. Okay, once imported, let's define over here. So we are defining a schema, val schema is equal to struct type, and we are defining the things. We are saying that name is of type string and age is of type integer. So we are defining the schema using a struct. So val schema, we are saying that schema is equal to struct type array struct field name string type true struct field age integer type true. Okay, so hopefully there is no spelling mistake. Always make sure that when you're start making a opening bracket, also type the closing bracket and go one space back, so that chances of doing mistake is bit less, number of brackets and so on. So we are saying that we are defining a schema, and the structure type is we are having two things. One is a name, and another is integer. So we are just defining a schema which are having two fields, name of type string and integer of age of type integer. Okay, is it clear? Any doubts in this defining a schema? Any doubts?
Mm,
Okay, then I will write the command, then you can say me what it does. sc.parallelize sequence Jerry, Donald. Okay, so what is this doing? What is this line doing? Whatever I have written.
It's a creating an RTD
Okay,
word.
first inside this is just a sequence, but as you
Okay.
come out, you see sc dot parallelize. It is nothing but an RDD.
RTD.
Okay, so we are creating an
Okay.
RDD which is having Tom, Jerry, and Donald. Then next, what I'm doing is map x becomes x comma x becomes x comma x dot length. So what I'm doing now for Tom, Jerry, and Donald, I'm saying that map it to every x becomes x comma x dot length. So it will be Tom comma, what is the length of Tom?
3.
3. Okay. So Tom comma 3, Jerry comma 5, and Donald comma 6. If I want to see the contents of this RDD, how to see? Data dot collect. So it is Tom 3, Jerry 5, and Donald 6 because we did x dot length. Over here we added 2, so the age is different over here. It's Tom 5, Jerry 7, and Donald 8 because we also added 2 over here. Over here I just copied as x dot length. So it is Thomas age is 3, Jerry age is 5, Donald age is 6. Okay, I will write the next instruction. You say me what it is doing. Val row RDD is equal to data dot map. So we are doing some map function on it. X becomes row x dot underscore 1 comma x dot underscore 2, and let's see the contents of it. It is doing nothing but we are just applying a row function on it, that is it will make as a row RDD. Let's see the contents. Row RDD dot collect. So you can see that over here it was a circular bracket, here it is a square bracket, so it is nothing but a row, line by line. So we are just applying a row function on top of it, that is a line by line. If you want to visualize over here, it was back to back, so it is represented by a circular bracket. If we apply a row function to it, it is changed to a square bracket, that is to visualize it is one line by one line. Over here it was back to back, one, then another, then another. This is like, this is in one line, this is in second line, this is in third line. Okay, so we have applied a row function. Then what is this doing? Val df is equal to SQL context dot create data frame row RDD comma schema. Okay, so what is this doing? We are saying that we are loading into a data frame SQL context dot create a data frame from a row RDD and schema. So for a structure type, you make a data frame in this way. For a struct, you want to make a data frame from a structure type. Then you say that SQL context, comma, create data frame and create the data frame from row RDD. Row RDD is nothing but this one. And schema, what is a schema? Schema is nothing but this one, the structure that I defined. So it says that create a data frame using this. How to see the contents of this data frame? df.show. Okay. So two things to note over here. If I want to make it for a struct type, I need to always apply a row function over here. Previously, we never applied a row function, but now if I am using from a struct type, you have to apply a row function. And when you have to create a data frame, 2df won't work now. 2df will not work. To make a data frame, you have to do a create data frame. SQL context dot a create data frame. So previously when we did it using the class, it was 2df. Simply apply a 2df function. But when we are doing it using a struct data type, when you are doing using a struct, it is create data frame. So just remember these 2 points. First point is that you have to convert it into a row RDD, and second point, the way you create a data frame is different. You create a data frame using a create data frame. Okay, the next thing you have already done. What does this do? Df dot register. What will this do? What we are doing over here?
registering a temporary.
Yeah, so that we can run the query. So how to run the query? SQL context dot SQL and whatever you want to write. Normal SQL. Select star from. So whatever you want to write, you can write where condition, group by, and so on. Okay, why it is not showing? Because we did not write show. So this is the contents of this particular table. So is it clear how to load the data from data frame, how to load the data from, how to make the schema from a class, how to make a schema from the struct type? Any doubts in this so far? Anyone, any doubts?
No,
Okay. If no doubts, then let's go ahead. But make sure that there is no option but to practice, else you will keep on forgetting. Okay, now let's go ahead loading the data from different data formats. So over here we will be seeing how to load the data from a comma separated value CSV file, then how to load the data from a XML file. We have to use some packages and all. We'll be seeing that. We'll see how to load a data from a JSON file. Yeah, so we'll see this contains how to load a data from CSV, XML and JSON file. Till now whatever we loaded was simply as a text file, sc dot load from a text file and so on. Okay, let me exit from this. Okay, so I have exited from this. For you, you also need to write this particular line. So what this particular line does is, this line does nothing but it changes this contents. Export, there is a Java tool option. I'm setting the protocol as transport layer security 1.2, because what happened now is recently all the websites have stopped supporting TLS 1.0 and TLS 1.1. By default, this particular version of Cloudera is using TLS 1.1. So what we are doing is we are forcing it to use TLS 1.2. We will be forcing our uh, system to use TLS 1.2. We are forcing it to use TLS 1.2. So we are exporting Java tool options as protocol as TLS 1.2 and we are putting in .bash rc. So make sure that you just copy this line as it is and just write it over here. For me, no need to write because I have already written. So make sure that you just copy this entire line from here until here if you are working on this particular Cloudera version so that it starts using TLS 1.2. If you are already on a newer version of a Cloudera, no need to write because the newer version will be using TLS 1.2. The reason I am not going to newer version is my system is getting more and more slow and I don't need a newer version for this. So I just updated the TLS to 1.2 and then I had to start the Spark. It is Spark shell and then I say package com dot databricks dot spark dash csv underscore 2.10 underscore 1.5.0. Okay, the next thing is I am importing this package com.databricks spark csv. I am importing this particular package. Make sure that this version is correct. If you remember, once we started the Spark, we see that Scala written as 2.10 and the Spark is 1.5. So make sure that this version you are specifying it correctly when you are loading the package. If it is the more latest, it should work, but older version may not work. So make sure that you are giving the same version is always better. So you see that it is saying that it picked the TLS 1.2. For you also it should say that it has picked TLS 1.2. If it is not, then this will probably not start. So what happened to package? It says that dash dash package. Is there any spelling mistake? Packages packages. Okay, so it is loading the package for me. It's very difficult to go on with this. Let me get the same command in over here, because for sure if I am going to write this all things will be a lot of mistakes. So queries.txt should probably have, no, it is not having. Do I have it somewhere over here? 2008. Okay, this I have the instructions, it seems. No, this is for tomorrow's class. Let me see if I can see somewhere Spark SQL. Okay, very bad, I cannot find it. Somehow this is also not getting right click. Let me find some other way, because this way if I do, then it will be a lot of mistakes. Notepad.io alternative. So notepad.io still there. The simple way to make and share notes. Share notepad. Yeah. Shrib.com. No login required. Yeah. So so this is the link. So let me just copy this all the things from here till end over here. Okay. Then I just have to go to this link over there. So I can close this. So I have it over here in this particular path. Let's go to VM, write shrib.com slash hash uv bcj r dash x t w t 6 dash jk VAVYH. Is it something wrong? Why the notepad is blank? Small u, capital V, B, C, J. Okay, yeah, it is loaded. It took some time. Okay, so I am having my commands over here so that now I can copy paste. Without copy paste, I will make a lot of mistakes over here. Okay, so we have started this Spark shell using this packages and it started. Now next thing, let's copy the next instruction and see what it does. Okay, so we are saying that val char df. So this is my data frame. How we are creating this data frame? How we are creating this data frame? We're saying that SQL context read dot format, and we are reading from the format we are taking from com.databricks.spark.csv. We are saying that header is present, header is true. Option infer schema is true. The data is delimited by comma. The data is delimited by comma. And we want to take the contents from this place: user, Cloudera, Spark SQL prac, Star Wars.csv. So this is a quicker way of creating a data frame. So if I go over here and see the contents, what is present inside it, we want to see the contents inside the Star Wars.csv. This is my Star Wars.csv: name, height, weight, eye color, hair color, JD, species. So these are the these are the people or the characters in Star Wars. This is their height, this is their weight, this is their color of their eye, this is their hair color, and so on. And the first line is the header. So since the header is present, we are saying that header is true. Okay, so you can see that we are reading, we are specifying that com.databricks.spark.csv. Header is present, we want it to infer the schema. The delimiter is comma and the file name is this one. How to see the contents of this data frame? Okay, again it is showing so many things. Why it is showing so many things? How can we hide this?
Yeah,
How can we hide this all info?
yeah, that a log error
Sc dot
something.
set
That
log level
level.
to
Okay.
error. Okay, so it has got successfully loaded, but it is showing me so many info message. So let's do it again to make sure that there is no error. Yeah, so it is loaded. How to see the contents of this data frame?
Dot show. Character df dot show.
Df.show
Yep.
characters underscore df dot show. So you already have a data frame. Now how can you, what can you do next? You can register it as a temporary table, and after registering it as a temporary table, you can run the query on it. Okay, to what is this line doing? What is this line doing that we'll be copying? What is this line doing?
Register temporary table.
Okay, so it registers it as a temporary table. What is this doing? SQL context dot sequence select star from Star Wars where species is equal to droid dot show.
It's, it's running SQL command and showing result.
Okay, so it will just display and dot show is to display. Okay, is it clear how to now load the CSV table? Any doubts in CSV?
No, no.
Okay, similarly we want to do for XML also. There is no difference. Just exit, then just start. The Spark shell. Spark shell is starting. Okay, so it is started. Okay, so what is this doing? We're making a data frame, SQL context.read. This is the format. Infer schema is true. Root tag and employees. Let's see what is that. Row tag and employee. And the contents is coming from employees.xml. Let's see employees.xml. How we specify this employees and employee will understand only after seeing this employee.xml. So let's see employees.xml. So employees.xml. This is my employees.xml. So you can see that this is employees and this is employee. So each employee is given this way, right? This is employees. And this is my fields: employee number, employee name, address, city, country, pin code, salary, department. So basically this is my employees and this is my employee. So that's the reason you can see that root tag is given as employees and row tag is given as employee. Is it clear why employees and employee?
Yep.
Can you see employees over here? Root tag and
Yes.
a
Yeah.
row tag is employee. Each row is given inside this and total root is this. So root tag will be employees and row tag will be employee. Is it clear why
Yes.
employee and employees? Okay. Okay, how to see the contents of a data frame? How to
Date
see
dot
contents?
show.
Employees underscore df dot show. So you can see the contents. Is it clear?
Yes.
So this is how you can load the XML files. So very simple it is. Anyhow, you don't have to remember all these things. You should have this anywhere handy with you. Okay, last one, going to JSON. Where US states is equal to SQL context dot read dot JSON Spark SQL pract slash US states dot JSON. So let's see this US states dot JSON file first. This is your US states dot JSON. So this is your file. State is AL. AL means Alabama. Census region is South. Census division is this one. So this is your JSON data. So there are three fields. One is state, then name. Four fields: state, name, census region, and census division. So you loaded it to see the data in RDD US states dot collect. US states dot collect to see the contents of that particular RDD that will be displayed on the screen. If you want to see the schema, is US states dot print schema. So it also gives you schema. These are the fields that you loaded: census division, census region, name, and state. You want to register it as a temporary table. US states dot register temp table. Temporary table we name at US states. And then if I want to see the context of it, it's SQL context dot SQL select star from US states dot show. This is how you can run the SQL queries. You can also write show bracket 2, so it will only show you the two rows. If you want to remove this 2 over here and write in a SQL way, limit 2, you can also do this way. Limit 2, it will also show you the two rows. So yes, this is all about Spark SQL concepts that we wanted to do and how we wanted to load all the different files. Tomorrow we will be doing on the practical part or solving some problem statement. Some problem is given and we will be using Spark SQL to solve it. Any doubts in this so far?
No.
Okay, so if no doubts, and if the time permits, then just try to revise this all. Just try to at least see this all if cannot execute. Just try to go through this document one time so that it will be helpful while we are doing tomorrow the problem statements.